Disgusting, disingenuous, and desperate, but popular. If you want to get a barometric reading of the current mental state of the slice of the brain-singed masses who consume the content and believe and support alternative media channels, look no further than Keith Edwards' gullible statist audience. And what I mean by that is, he just uploaded this video about 5 hours ago with over 316,000 views, which is more views than I'll get in 2 or 3 months, entitled Unearthed Footage of Press Secretary Sends White House into Full Panic. It is an absolute lie. It's a desperate lie to get even more views. And this guy is a rising star in the Democrat propagandist circle. We're going to go through this and you're going to tell me if you think the White House is in full panic mode, or if he even fully dealt with this, or if he's just basically tabloid journalism. Check this out. And the reason we're going through this is because this is an indicator of what a large slice of the American people on the Democrat side are tuning into, buying into, and will one day regurgitate.
President Trump's press secretary, Caroline Leavitt, is caught in another scandal as another video has resurfaced that is putting a target on her back. And I have to tell you, another video has come out of that I can't wait to show you. It is absolutely ridiculous. And also, Kevin McCarthy is in the news, alleging that Matt Gaetz did something with an underage girl. And I also have something at the very end for you about woke words that I just want to know your opinion on. First, here is Dean Cain. I don't know about you, but this makes me feel safe. I'm going to feel so safe. Here's Dean Cain in a phenomenal ICE recruiting video.
And so this time Dean Cain isn't flying there. He's going through.
Oh my God. Really graceful, like a gazelle.
And so this time Dean Cain isn't flying there. He's going through that obstacle course and training to be an honorary ICE agent. He was working hard out there, and this is exactly what those recruits will do.
And by the way, this thing with Dean Cain and Fox News, this is nothing more, nothing less than a photo op. It is psychological operations 101. And you know, Fox News is playing to the rightist, statist audience, and Keith Edwards, Brian Tyler Cohen, Adam Mockler, the Midas Touch are all playing to the left-leaning propagandist farm. And it's disgusting because basically it's a statist saying to another statist, we want you to put the ring of power on the finger of our ruler so he can rule you with the policies that we approve of, while the other side is saying the exact same thing.
They're picked one by one, and they're at the federal law enforcement training.
Wow, that's the best they could do.
That's the best he can do. This is shallow. You can't even count this as journalism. This would be tantamount to walking through a grocery store, getting in the checkout line and looking at the magazine rack and seeing the National Enquirer. They will put anything on the cover to draw eyes and to get readers and to get people to buy a subscription. That's the same thing with this guy. This guy's got 60 million views per month and rising. That's disturbing because we live with people in America who subscribe to this. We shop with them. We work with them. You know, a lot of people go to church with them. This is what people are thinking. This is what people are tuning into. This is the content that they will regurgitate.
You do? Superman, more like subpar man. Okay, let me have that. All right, now Caroline Leavitt is caught in scandal. The White House is reeling as this video has been on.
The White House is reeling. First of all, the thing that he says the White House is reeling about is nothing the White House would reel about. Everybody in the Trump administration, most people in the Trump administration approve of Project 2025. So linking Caroline Leavitt with Project 2025 would be a nothing burger to White House administration officials right now. So the last thing they would be is in full panic mode. Keith Edwards knows this. I don't think he's stupid. He just knows what buttons to push and what's going to draw eyes and generate clicks.
Earth that connects her directly to Project 2025. It goes on, this is the Daily Beast reporting as of yesterday, saying, well, she doesn't talk about it these days, a 27-year-old who, by the way, looks totally different. This is a different face. It's a different face. Sorry, I don't think that's sexist. I think that's just having...
She probably has had some work done, but she doesn't look totally different. If you compare these images side by side, she doesn't look totally different.
Eyes. Anyways, well, she doesn't talk about it these days. A 27-year-old press secretary once played a starring role In a training video created by the Heritage Foundation, which created Project 2025, the 30-minute guide titled The Art of Professionalism was produced before Trump returned to the Oval Office and features Levitt providing tips on everything from competence, you have to be resourceful, to knowledge, reading the news of the day. A great tip, Caroline. And confidence, quote, just be prepared. All right, here is just a little bit of that video, which is... Ugh.
My name is Caroline Levitt, and I am a former political appointee in the Donald J. Trump administration, where I served in the White House press office as an assistant press secretary.
Yeah, so when they...
Okay, so hey, Keith, why would that put the White House into, quote, full panic mode? Or did you lie, Keith? Yeah, you lied. And that right there tells you everything you need to know. Brian Tyler Cohen is doing the same thing in his titles. Now, I don't have a problem with putting something in the title that's going to generate interest, but it better have everything to do with what your video is about. There's no indication at all beyond Keith Edwards' words that the White House is in full panic mode. It's just a lie. And if he's going to lie about this, what else is Keith Edwards lying about? How else is he misleading his audience?
Said they weren't doing that shit. They're doing that shit. And here is all of MAGA admitting that Project 2025 is real. We know that now they're doing it, but they admitted as such the second they won the election.
Admitted what? Admitted Israel what? He didn't even finish it. And the clip that he's about to play from Nick Fuentes doesn't substantiate the thing that he didn't even admit.
Guess what? Guys win again, okay? Men win again. And yes, we control your bodies. Hi, I'm your Republican congressman.
And by the way, Nick Fuentes doesn't even represent MAGA. Nick Fuentes today is diametrically opposed to MAGA.
Hi, I'm your Republican congressman.
By the way, not for nothing, but Candace Owens has said that this man is a homosexual. And I think as a homosexual, I'm allowed to allege that. A white nationalist homosexual. How nice.
Body.
More tabloid news trifles.
My choice. You will never control your own bodies. You will never be the president of the global empire. Never gonna happen, sweetie.
I already know there's going to be a bunch of people who are like, who cares what that troll has to say? He's not.
All right, well, I care what he says because he has a lot of power. He has a lot of influence. And I really do think that's what a lot of Republicans in power want.
And I care too, Keith. You have a lot of power and influence right now. Closing in on 800,000 subscribers. Keep in mind, this guy was nothing. We looked at his social blade, I think the time before last in one of my videos, but he came from having 0 views to 62,000 views to 12 million views to 60 million views a month. Where did you come from, Keith? Dishing out this kind of fodder? How are you this popular? What's actually going on? This is a major psychological operation because you have a lot of these guys putting out this same kind of content who are getting tens of millions, hundreds of millions of views. In the case of Midas Touch, 500 million views a month.
That's what they want. Caroline Levitt is a path for them to get there. They show that a woman can be anything while they still strip the rights away from every woman.
He's grouping. This is also another disingenuous thing. He clearly hasn't done his homework. Nick Fuentes is not on the side of MAGA. He's not even currently, while he did vote for Donald Trump and he was in the tank for Donald Trump because he himself is a statist, Nick Fuentes is against the Trump administration. And Keith Edwards, who has a nearly 1 million strong audience, doesn't know this. So he's dishing out lies.
Classic bait and switch. What I tell you, that face is totally different. That is a different face. That is this. It could be her sister. It could be her sister. For what it's worth, I think she looks good. Looks better.
Majoring in the minors.
But anyways, here she is, not being able to speak very well.
And the president is more...
Now he's going to make fun of the way she speaks. But I've never heard Keith Edwards speak any bad word against all the misspeaks of Joe Biden or Kamala Harris. Never. But he will do it against Caroline Levitt because she's on Team Red, he's on Team Blue, and that's the game you got to play.
Interested in giving that taxpayer money to trade schools, in programs, in state schools, where they are promoting American values, but most importantly, educating the next generation based on skills that we need in our economy and our society. Apprenticeships, electricians, plumbers. We need more of those in our country and less LGBT.
Apprenticeships. Oh.
She merely misspoke on one word. Other than that, if you listen to Carolyn Levitt, and she's a sold out statist as well to the Trump administration. What's wrong with that? Oh, I don't know. I like take the guns first, due process second, bump stock bans, oversaw the biggest power and wealth transfer in the world, not just American history, but world history. Was bought out by the Rothschilds Inc. back in the 1990s when he went underwater with Taj Mahal. And he's going to key in on one misspeak. Other than this, Carolyn Levitt is very well spoken. She's very articulate. She's a statist, but she's an articulate statist. And this is what Keith Edwards is going to choose to hone in on.
Boy, apprenticeships. Okay, well, that's definitely a press secretary for Donald J. Trump. Now, moving on, we also
Meaningless.
have news that Kevin McCarthy is back on CNN. The bitch is back. And he is alleging some pretty damning stuff about Matt Gaetz. He doesn't outright say it, but remember, Matt Gaetz is the one who led the charge to get Kevin McCarthy removed from office. And here's what Kevin McCarthy said, who obviously still has a chip on his shoulder.
Seats in California that have flipped. When I was in, we won 5 seats. We lost 2 in the last cycle. I didn't lose my job because I worked across the aisle. I lost my job because one person slept with an underage woman, and I wasn't going to do something different when it came to the ethics committee. And I do that exact same thing today. I'll stand for what's right. Just like right now, I'm standing for the Constitution of California. The voters decide.
Yeah, the voters do decide, and the voters most likely are going to vote to say that they're going to redistrict and allow gerrymandering to take place. So take that, Kevin McCarthy. And it's really funny that he is basically just on national TV saying that Matt Gaetz slept with an underage girl. He's not saying it directly, but just so you know, that's exactly who he's talking about. And let's end with this, because this was in the news yesterday. No one will talk about it. We will talk about it. Apparently, the problem with Democrats is that the words they use alienate voters.
We've heard existential threat a lot, but I want to give people some context on some other words and phrases that were in this memo. Body shaming, cisgender, holding space, incarcerated people, intersectionality, LGBTQIA+, pregnant people, systems of oppression.
That's right. Pay attention to this, because this is a double psychological operation. One part coming from Keith Edwards, the Democrat propagandist, and the other side coming from the rightist propagandist.
The unhoused. Why do you think it's a words, not a policies thing that Democrats are suffering from right now?
Oh, it's definitely both. I mean, we're a think tank. We talk about policies all the time. But I think sometimes we give short shrift to the words that public-facing Democrats, like the ones you just showed, and others, are using. And those words matter a lot. Ask yourself, if you're watching this, does anyone in your family around the table use words like this? Do you hear this when you talk to people that you went to high school with, or folks you're talking to at the grocery store? People just don't talk this way. And when Democrats do, they're putting a barrier between themselves and voters in ways that are deeply alienating and really off-putting. And we thought it was time for somebody to tell them that.
I don't know anyone in my personal life who talks that way, nor do I know anyone that cares about how someone decides to describe homeless people, whether they say unhoused or homeless. I really think that they are just looking in the wrong place. The problem is that Americans want a fighter, and they want policies that can help them have a better life. They want someone that they can trust. And I think more than anything, voters want someone who has moral clarity and understands their life. So I don't think it's a words thing. I think it's a policy thing. I just don't understand why Democrats look in all the wrong. It couldn't be simpler. Have good policies and relate to voter struggles, and you will win elections. That's as easy as it is. Zoran Mamdani.
So we're talking about winning elections. It's not about words. It's about winning elections. So you have to conduct your affairs right. You have to model yourself beautifully so that you can attract voters, so that those voters can vote for our guy, so that our guy can have the ring of power, so that he can set the policies and control everybody. This is what's wrong with the Democrats. This is what's wrong with the Republicans, and this is what's wrong with both sides of the argument, because you have these guys talking about how people talk, and what they're both talking about is how we should talk so we can attract more voters to Team Red or Team Blue. Meanwhile, the Federal Reserve continues to print money, buy treasuries, wreck the economy, control workers. BlackRock continues to buy properties. The AI companies continue to get these tax breaks that make the people in the community have to pay more for power, more for water, because when these AI facilities come in, they get grants and they get tax breaks from the city councils, and then the city councils defer all that cost onto the taxpayers. But these guys choose to talk about how can we strategically talk about words and hone our craft to such an extent that we can get more voters on our side, which will change absolutely nothing. And he's talking about the moral high ground, and he's talking about policies, and he's talking about trust. Putting trust in the moral fabric of a politician, you've got to be crazy. You've got to be insane to be talking like that. So while we did this video right here, it went from, what was it, 316,000 views in 5 hours to 334,000 views in just over 5 hours. That's what people are watching. This right here is what people are being influenced by. So all I ask you to do is like this video and share this video. This is how we break the left versus right paradigm. We have to expose these guys. We have to expose the rightist statists, because truth fears no scrutiny. Truth is the new hate speech. Truth is the first casualty in any war. We are in an information war, and I aim to cause a shift in the victory to people who don't subscribe to this nonsense. Like this video, share this video, comment. It really helps me overcome the algorithm. I will see you guys in the next video.